and put them in place so that we can use them to walk this machine through difficult ground or get it through the difficult ground, and do it as fast as you can do it where you're doing it if you were there just without a TBM in the tunnel. So when we get back into good ground, away we go again. And look, I'm no one I have a great respect for NATM. They're the Austrians, and when they developed that, and the people around the world that use it, you have to understand a lot about rock. And we have to, as tunnel boring experts, we have to understand a lot about rock as they do. So I fully respect them done in NATM mining methods or tunneling methods, and we're certainly trying to utilize that experience in our equipment, in designing and making our equipment.
This next question is in reference to micro-tunneling, which we don't manufacture micro-tunneling machines. However, as most people are aware, we are going into soft ground now and have some experience with ETV projects. The question is, when micro-tunneling in soft ground with water above the micro-tunneling machine, what methods are appropriate to maintain grade?
Well, I think you're going to have to ask my competitor that question. I'm no micro-tunneling expert. But from our experience in soft ground and experience in tunneling, the best method is to make sure you've got a good placement of your segments or of your pipe, and if you're putting in pipe, and then have control over your jacking system, because you're obviously going to have to put more pressure on the bottom part of the segment than you are on the top part to keep your cutter head trying to make your cutter head climb all the time. And if it is possible to have the best way to steer any TBM with a micro-tunneling or EPD machine is with active articulation. And that means that your cutter head has to be separate from your main thrust jacks. You have to have two types of jacking systems. And if you have two types of jacking systems, with active articulation, you're putting even loads and precise loads on your lining, and then making the steering with your cutter head only. And that's the best way to control lining grade in soft ground tunneling, whether it's micro tunneling or whether it's EPD tunneling.
Okay, next question is, do you have any experience with advanced drainage?
Yeah, the advanced drainage was used a lot before in a lot of tunnels, and advanced drainage is really the best solution if you can get if it's allowed. In most cases now, advanced draining isn't allowed. That used to be, I remember, in our earlier days of TBM boring, and especially in soft ground, it was very common practice to go ahead and drill these holes or wells in front of the tunnel alignment and just drain down below the tunnel alignment and then just pass through it. Yes, if you can use, if it's permitted, you don't get the farmers and the local well people all upset. Actually, absolutely use advanced drainage. It's effective. It works well. It really helps your progress. It's a great thing to use. But as I said, it's pretty regulated now in our industry for the obvious reasons that when you lower the water table, you can get subsidence or you can drain wells, and people don't like subsidence and drain wells. Next question.
Do you think there are certain types of ground conditions that tunnel boring machines are not able to bore through effectively? And if so, what are they?
Yeah, well, as I said, I'm effectively is the key word there. I'm of the opinion that there's very few cases that you're going to do a lot better in terms of progress and end up with a lot better product just because you went in and used NATM. The real problem with TBMs for difficult ground is they're expensive. The machine is expensive. They put all these shock-proof robotic grouting machines and all that. They're very expensive. So the tunnel has to be long. So I think it's more dictated by cost. I don't. If it's a long tunnel, I think you're better off to use a boring machine, even if it's squeezing ground and bad ground. I think we can end up being more cost effective. Of course, in short tunnels, we can't because the machine itself is so difficult and expensive to set up, and if it's mostly bad ground for the whole section of short tunnel, then there's no advantage to using a TBM. So I think it's somewhat length related and somewhat geologically related. But I've seen several tunnels in the past 5 to 10 years specified drill and blast because the ground was so difficult, and in my opinion, we could have bored it and we should have bored it faster, or would have bored it faster. But I'm selling TBM, so be careful of that answer.
Well, from a buyer of TBMs, a guy from a contracting company, I don't know if we're supposed to say names or anything, he says that follow-up on steering and ground and soft ground, for whether EPB or slurry, consistent face pressure are paramount. Consistent face pressures are paramount. And operator experience is also key.
Couldn't agree more. Whoever wrote that obviously had some problems in his day and sorted them out. Exactly the right thing to do. Control that ground pressure, face pressure, understand it, don't let it vary. Inform your operator what that's all about. Teach your operator give them a course on how to control pressure and the effects if you don't. And you're going to be using the university or high school graduate. He'll get it, and you can make good operators just by sitting them down and going through like this slide in front of us here and showing us, hey, this is what's going on in there. This is what you got to control, and this is how you control it. And so I agree 100% with whoever wrote that a good education and good control of the pressure is the right mining process, the right tunneling process.
In reference to the one or two questions ago, from which length is typically a TBM used?
Yeah, it's somewhat diameter related, but and somewhat city related. In urban situations, that might be 1,000 feet, 300 meters. In non-urban areas, it's probably somewhere around 3 or 4 kilometers, and certainly 5 or 6 you're starting to get into the real area where you should be using TBMs. So TBMs are expensive, and we like to see them on long tunnels. It takes time to set them up, takes time to take them apart, and so under 3 or 4 kilometers, unless you got some on extenuating surfaces, that's sort of going at the cutoff point.
On the same topic again, what's the shortest tunnel drive that the Robbins Company has experienced by TBM excavation?
Whoops, we just went off.
I can still see you.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. It was just mine. I wasn't working my computer enough. Sorry. I probably on a project that wasn't successful many years ago, but successful projects. We just completed tunneling, drainage tunnel in Hong Kong that was only about 200 meters long. It was actually 2 or 3 tunnels, one even a wide. And they were only a couple of 100 meters long, and boring drainage tunnels. We set it up specially so it was easy to set up right at the portal, that you didn't need a big portal. We made a very simple conveyor mucking system. So we can adapt these machines for short tunnels if they're required. And it takes some special work, but we can do it and have them.
I see a few people.
We have the hour here, so we'll take 3 or 4 more questions, and we can still go on a little while longer if we got some special questions. But please proceed.
I would like to say, since some people probably have to go, since it's been an hour, the presentation I think will be available after. We will send you an email and let you know where you can download it if you're interested. Another question. In the design stage of projects, does the owner or design engineers request manufacturer's opinion regarding TBM ability to perform safe advancement with regards to geology, water pressure, and fault control?
Yes, I would say that's pretty common practice by the consultants. Even the consultants, we know a lot of them, even the ones that are very experienced, they still ask us our opinion. That's very common, and we like to get involved in the early stages. A lot of the consultants got some good ideas that we can put to use. So we encourage such questions. We try to give an honest and fair answer. I learned long ago that to sell the wrong TBM for the wrong project is only bad news for everybody, and especially and us too. So we try to give good, fair advice and relate our experience, and we welcome the chance to discuss these projects in advance with the consultants. One more question, we'll shut it down here, Brianna.
Actually, you've answered most of the questions, so I think we're fine.
Okay.
If you're okay with ending. And also, if anyone has questions afterwards, feel free to email either myself or Locke. In the email that we send out, it will have our email addresses. Or if you don't want to look for that, it's homel@robinstbm.com or homeb@robinstbm.com. Thank you very much for participating. And,
yeah, thank you all, and thank you for joining us. It was nice to make this presentation, and as I said, I'm always interested in your comments and your experience.